Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex in his temple, as he arrives at episode 390, where no power in the verse can stop the Daleks. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
In his dimple. See, I like that. That was good.
That was an improv.
It was just a little thing.
That wasn't what I had planned.
Well, that was good, though. I like
good.
that.
Thanks.
In his dimple.
In his temple.
I'm good. I'm well.
Did you guys have a good week?
It was all right.
It was a long week, but yeah.
Do anything fun?
Well, no, I didn't. Yes. No. I caught up on, because I'm a few episodes behind on Cloak and Dagger, which is getting really good.
I saw it finally made a Marvel or a larger universe reference.
Yeah. Finally. Yeah.
8 episodes in.
Yes.
Other than Roxxon.
Yeah, well, that's been like, I'm surprised they've gone as Roxxon with it as they have, because I really thought they would use that corporation for something else that makes sense in how they're using it. But we've had little discussions or talk, or even maybe Roxxon signs within
I think that's
the universe so far. But yeah. No, it's pretty good. I'm quite enjoying it. No, I finished, and I don't know if I talked about this before, but I've been watching Silicon Valley on HBO, which is really good and really funny. I
tried that. I'm too impressed.
Finally caught up. Oh, I think it's so good. I finally caught up, but I'm done with season 5, and it ended so satisfyingly that I kind of think I don't want them to do a season 6 now, because it almost like it, and it's almost like they wrote this one to say, okay, if this is our last season, those will wrap it up. And it really does. So I can't see where they would go with the 6th season, but it was good. It's quite enjoyable.
I finished Luke Cage, which that did not go down how I thought it would.
Nope.
What a bold approach to end the Marvel series.
Yep, I thought the same thing.
And especially, well, just in the last 2 episodes of, spoilers, the big confrontation being in the second to last episode, and then
penultimate.
The finale being Fallout was pretty clever and a nice change of pace.
I don't know.
Then how they actually ended it.
I hated how they ended it, but I loved how they ended it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's such a bold move.
Well, and it's been such a... So in season 1, Luke Cage is very much a black and white character. His morals are black and white. And those have been tested this entire season. So to have him land so squarely in the gray by the end of it is fantastic. I think it's brilliant.
No, it was a brilliant move, and I quite enjoyed it. I think this is the most solid season of...
Yeah, I would agree.
Of, any of the Marvel television shows, but as far as all the way through, there are still seasons of, Jessica Jones season 1, I still think is my favorite. But it just, it played with my emotions so much, that last episode, that I was mad. I was angry that they went there, but I was also glad they went there because it's so different and played with my emotions. So
I didn't get that mad about it.
Plus, no, Claire didn't come back.
I was a little
I thought
disappointed by that,
she should have at least showed up. You know what I mean? I mean, they just kind of, it felt like they kind of wrote that.
It felt like
off.
she wanted out of her contract, and so they wrote her out.
But I don't think she did.
I don't know if that's the
she?
case. I mean, I don't know.
I got the impression she's going to be an Iron Fist, too.
Is she?
His second season, which
I know Misty is.
Came out of nowhere. I had no idea, because I didn't hear anything about there being a second season Iron Fist. I mean, I kind of assumed they'd do it, and then suddenly there's a trailer, and I was like, what the heck?
And it looks pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see.
So far.
I wasn't a hater of the first one.
No,
I thought the first season was definitely not the best of them.
The season 2 makes it feel like it's going to be more like and based off the footage descriptions I read, makes it sound like it's going to be more in line with the rest of the actual Defenders.
I think so too. Well, and even his appearance on Luke Cage, I thought the one episode he was in was actually quite good.
Yeah. I would agree. We also watched Paddington 2.
Isn't it cute?
It is cute. It was really enjoyable. Gemma... there's that big chase scene in the beginning. She was just laughing. She'd never laughed like that at a movie ever before. So, yeah, we quite enjoyed it.
We were going to go see something this weekend, but we decided to go to do Escape Room instead. So we
nice.
We did another Escape Room at Conundrum, and We got close, but we didn't finish. We didn't solve it. And then when we saw a couple of the things that we screwed up on, we were kind of like, God, we overthought it. We went into it and completely overthought a lot of things. So
We finished Lucifer, season 3. I can't believe they were going to end it that way, but it's on Fox, so yeah, I can.
Well, they weren't going to end it that way.
They weren't.
Fox was going to end it that way.
Fox forced them to end it that way. It was good.
I fell off during season 2.
you didn't see movies, Sean? Surely you saw a movie.
Mm,
You have a movie pass for crying out
We
loud.
went and saw Adrift early in the week.
Is that any good?
It's not bad. It's okay. I put my review up, and I have a great love and appreciation for people who sail, because it's something that I will never do. It's just like,
Oh, that's the
no.
one where they go out on the the boat, and she's not a sailor, and he gets injured, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going around sailing the
Yeah.
boat from wherever they're at in the Taiwan or somewhere, sailing to San Francisco. I was like, this is not a good idea.
that's a lot of ocean.
That's a lot of ocean. And then they, get caught in a hurricane and things go bad. I think the biggest problem that I have with this movie is that they've made this movie so many times.
Right.
And I don't want to take anything away because it's based on a true story. And it's like, I'm sorry that there's a bunch of you that feel you can sail across the ocean in a sailboat and get stuck in hurricanes. It's just kind of like, that's where the hurricanes are. If you don't go there, it won't happen to you. But when I watched All Is Lost, which is pretty much the exact same story, but it's Robert Redford, it's kind of tough to beat Robert Redford,
See, yeah, and I like Sam Claflin, but I don't like Cheyenne Woodley very much. So she's kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch that.
And he's sidelined for most
Yeah,
of it.
because
so.
he gets injured. Yeah.
It's a perfectly satisfying little movie, but it's not anything to write home about. And I think we're probably going to try and go see Equalizer 2 tomorrow. So we just didn't make it out this weekend. We had Katrina for part of it, and
Didn't go see Mamma Mia?
I didn't go see Mommy. I watched the first one in preparation for it, but
Is that your first viewing?
no.
Oh, okay.
No.
Cool.
This was the first time I had seen it a couple months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was all right.
So what's the news?
Will came over in the middle of it. I'm on the couch. Will walks in and goes, dude, really? What?
What's in the news, Keith?
Well, San Diego Comic-Con happened. And, of course, the Doctor Who panel and all sorts of different little tidbits of things, including a new trailer. An actual proper trailer.
Actual trailer, yeah.
What
It's
do you
kind of
guys think
funny
of
that
it?
we get a teaser like a week before they release an actual trailer. I thought that was kind of weird.
I wasn't too surprised, actually.
I was surprised.
I thought
it's
they
the
wouldn't
timing. It's the timing of it.
Yeah.
We should have got the trailer or the teaser that we got maybe last month, and then the trailer this month. And I don't know.
I got the impression what they wanted to put out something for the UK audience initially, and needed to do something before San Diego where the actual trailer was going to come out. So
that makes sense.
they slapped that teaser together.
Or maybe they wanted to surprise. They slapped it together. Maybe they wanted to surprise everybody and make you think, well, the teaser came out this week, so they
That's
won't
what they're
do
gonna show at
anything
San
San
Diego.
Diego. A surprise, new stuff at San Diego.
I actually thought they were going to show the clip that leaked at San Diego, and that's why I thought maybe it leaked, because somebody was
yeah.
preparing it for San Diego and it got leaked. But it doesn't sound like they played the clip, so maybe they opted to go. Maybe that's why the trailer dropped early. Maybe they were going to show that clip. When it leaked online, they said, well, maybe we ought to take the trailer then and do that. So, what are you doing?
My microphone screen is just slowly sliding down the... It's moved about a quarter of an inch.
I won't be getting through out of this week without editing, I take it now.
There.
What did you guys think of the content of the trailer?
It's all right. It's a trailer. I think...
It got me more excited than the teaser did.
you know what? Well, certainly that's true. I think Jodie has an air of Matt Smith to her. I think just the way he portrayed it. Like
Yeah,
Lindsay.
a little bit. I
mean,
think
anybody's don't look like Matt Smith after Peter Capaldi. but
well, that that kind of manic running around that Matt Smith did.
Well, and the kind of that
the energy.
childish
Yeah.
wonder about
Yeah,
her as well.
yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited.
It's, at this point, it's just, stop teasing me and hurry up and come out with the show. I'm just ready to get into it. I feel like an old curmudgeon because it's like, teaser, trailer. Just hurry up. But yeah, I think Jodie's going to be great. I'm still a little on the fence maybe with how the show, the direction of it, and where we're going, and what Chibnall's going to be up to. And
I don't think we've seen enough to know.
that's just it. It's
Well,
foundless
they seem to
worry.
very much stress the idea that they're not companions, that they're friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there is no TARDIS to be seen in the whole thing. So
Yeah, that's,
I
true.
really
That's why
think-
Sean's not more excited
really
about
think-
it.
that
I need the TARDIS.
I really think this whole season is going to be her looking for the TARDIS. I
think
really
so.
think that'll be true.
I don't know. Looks like there's alien planets in that trailer. Quite a few.
I mean, they need the TARDIS to get there. I mean, she can use like glowing energy to give pizza, so we do.
That's Tom Baker's first season. He only took one trip in the whole TARDIS, in the
true.
TARDIS, in the
That's
whole
true.
season.
That's true.
And the Time Lords are back.
Maybe she gets a time ring. Maybe they travel with time ring.
Maybe Jack shows up.
Oh,
Maybe it's a vortex manipulator.
with his blonde hair and platinum blonde hair and Captain America
Gray.
dress. Was it gray?
It's gray.
Was it? Looked platinum blonde to me in the pictures.
I thought it was
Pretty-
blonde too, but
Pretty much sure it's gray.
Oh.
He dyed it gray for something. I don't know what.
It looked platinum blonde in the pictures.
I thought it looked gray.
Well, when you're looking at it in black and white, it's,
Oh yeah, that's my problem. I need to turn my color filter on.
new sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's cool. I like it because it's different than everything else.
It is very different. I
Well,
like
that
the fact that it's orange.
And it's not very sci-fi. You know what I mean? It almost kind of looks. Somebody pointed out it looks like a wand or something
looks
a little more
organic.
medieval, organic. I think I kind of like that. It's different. It's different than anything we've gotten before, and I think that it suits a change. And I think that's what I like about it. Is it's different.
I don't mind that it looks organic, except that it's organic looking and still obviously made of metal. It's just a weird.
That's what makes it sci-fi.
No, it's just a weird. It's a weird design choice.
It's the organic metal, like Krypton and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't like any of that.
That's what keeps it from looking like it's from Middle Earth.
Yeah.
I see. I'd rather just go there. If we're going to go there, just go there. Just commit to it. Instead
you
of
a
trying
wood-
to-
give you a steampunk one?
wooden screwdriver
That's my
that
absolute
actually
favorite.
works on wood.
Oh, there you go.
the
That's
wooden-
why it works on wood.
The wooden steampunky one that they used as the mock-up for McGann's is my absolute favorite of all the Sonics. I love the look of that one. But this one, I don't mind that it's orange. I don't, it's like, oh, cool. Something, I don't mind that it's ergonomically correct. I just don't like that it's really,
All
really,
the things that he just said is what I like about it.
Yeah. It's really, really, really organic looking, but metal. And it just, I don't know. Somebody said it looks like a cyber mat. And I went, yeah, I can kind of see that.
But they've all been metal. Why does this one looking? Is it because
It's a device.
because of the
It's something
organics with the
The
metallic?
organic design of it.
We've drilled in over and over and over again that the Doctor built this, that this is something that is constructed, and then the TARDIS presents him with one, which we assume that he had the schematics in there, and either the TARDIS built a new one or, and this just, I don't know. It just feels like this is not something that somebody built.
Maybe she had to cobble it together because the TARDIS is gone.
But then it should look like it's cobbled together from other elements that were
From
lying
actual
around.
Earth
maybe
based
it's
stuff.
maybe it's
This looks like
elements-
it was grown.
Maybe
and
it's-
it's not a...
Maybe Peter Capaldi had put a bunch of stuff in his pockets, and the 12th
may have
Doctor
been a bunch of stuff in his
had
pockets.
put a bunch of stuff in his pockets that were from other places.
Okay,
that
it doesn't have to
that
be
have
from
organically
Earth.
grown metal.
I don't like
and
it.
so she pulls it out of her pockets because obviously she's still in the 12th Doctor suit when she falls out of the TARDIS.
Right.
So maybe she pulls it
Well,
out there and cobbles it
you're
together.
justifying the how. That's fine. I don't have a problem with the how. I don't like the look. The how is immaterial.
Well, that's my point. That's
I
my
don't
point,
care
though.
where it came from. The
Well,
rationale
you do
for
care.
it is like,
You do care because you just gave the example of the TARDIS. Makes it. Maybe you put the schematics in there. The TARDIS presents it with you. Well, she can't do it this time. She's got to use what she's got, so she puts it
Okay.
together.
But
That's
then-
why it's organic.
Will the origin
Organic
of the
looking
Sonic
then?
change your opinion of the design?
Like if it's an alien device that she steals along with the outfit, maybe.
See?
I don't know.
You know what?
I just don't like the look
What
of
if she
it.
goes into a store and just buys the outfit?
That would be
Why are
pretty
you
awesome.
automatically assuming she's going to steal the outfit?
Because half the doctors have stolen
Not
the outfit.
half the doctors. We only know of 2 that have.
No.
Pertwee stole his first outfit
Yes.
from a hospital.
Matt Smith,
And Matt
stole
Smith
his
bought
from
his
a hospital.
from a hospital.
8 stole his in the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Another
true.
Hospital
That's
connection.
true.
Throw 3.
We never see 9s, but I'm betting he stole that outfit from somebody.
That's not something in a TARDIS wardrobe.
Gosh, I hope it came from a hospital.
I don't know. I don't like it.
What else came out of the panel?
So
I'm being very scientific about it. I don't like
Oh,
it.
you're being very curmudgeonly about it.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing.
They've
Well,
redecorated.
He
I
doesn't
don't
like
it.
so far.
He doesn't like Jodie
Let's keep
Whittaker.
story. He doesn't
He doesn't
like
like the
Jodie
13th
Whittaker.
Doctor.
He doesn't like the outfit. He doesn't like the trailer. He didn't like the teaser. He doesn't like the trailer now, and now he doesn't like the screwdriver.
But I love Jodie.
But he doesn't
I
like
don't
the
know.
13th Doctor.
I don't like the non-companions. But so far as I don't know them. So
I need it. Wait, I got to make a list because now it's getting longer.
Well, here's something else Sean won't like.
Okay.
When did I become Glenn?
You guys
I don't know,
switched
but I'm
roles.
really liking this.
Chibnall mentioned in the panel that Series 11 will be pretty much, this is quote, all new stories, all new monsters, all new villains. I think we're 2 weeks from finishing filming and we haven't come across any old villains yet.
I do like that.
I don't like that. No, I'm just kidding. I want to feel what it would be like to be like Sean right now.
So he goes on to say it's 10 standalone episodes, so there's no two-parters.
We have no reason to believe that Chibnall will lie to us yet.
Right.
So
I mean,
I like
we
that.
thought that about Moffat too, though, when he started. So.
He did give the caveat of 2 weeks left from filming and I haven't come across any new monsters. He could be very creatively telling the truth.
Very creatively telling the truth. Yeah.
It's from a certain point of view. It's
Okay, Obi-Wan.
And then that one showed up at the very end, and we went, "Oh, there it is." No,
and he kind of explains the reason for that is what we want is for people to feel like they've got the range and variety of Doctor Who this year. So if you've never seen it before, you're gonna fall in love with it, and if you have seen it, you're gonna get those things that you love about the show across the 10 episodes. So it's really designed as a good jumping on point without, quote unquote, the baggage of the past 50 however many years. Let that baggage come later.
yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I like that because, no offense, Glenn, do we really need a Dalek episode this season?
Well, we do, but I'm okay with that.
I'm sorry, Keith. Do we really need a Cyberman episode this season? Yes, because it might explain her Sonic. She built it out of the corpse of a Cyberman.
Maybe it is the 12th Doctor's Sonic, and it's been cyberized.
Or just melted.
Yeah, maybe that's what's it just melted.
Just
into
melted that way.
That's why it looks organic. The flames.
We just
melted
never saw
into
the
it.
orange setting.
No, maybe whatever.
We barely saw the Sonic.
The
It was
crystal or
pretty
whatever
short.
is over the top. Maybe it got burnt by the fire, and so it's
that
yellow now.
Maybe it was designed to do wood, and the first time it gets fired up, it implodes. Now it's stuck.
There's also a ton of videos you can go watch about different parts of the panels and interviews and stuff with the cast that were there. I haven't got a chance to watch all of the panel yet. Just a little bit of it.
I hadn't either.
They did quite a few little other videos too, like Jodie getting to the convention was pretty cute.
That was cute.
Time lapse video of a giant 13th Doctor Lego being
That
built.
was neat.
Did you guys see the picture of her standing next to it
I
after
saw
the fact?
that. That was
did.
pretty cool that she went by and looked at it.
Seems like
And the
she
pictures
had a lot
of
of
her
fun.
and Alex Kingston together.
Yeah.
Looks like they're having fun.
I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, apparently because Alex was at
Yeah, I knew
San
she was
Diego
there,
for
yeah.
what's her new show?
I don't know.
She's got a new show.
It's not Arrow.
No, it's witches.
Yeah.
It's something about witches.
I do
that
remember
she's
that.
on.
I do remember hearing that.
But she's there for that, and apparently she and Jodie bumped into each other at some point.
Oh,
Just
fun.
were, freaked out and were ecstatic.
Cool.
But yeah, it looks like they're having a lot of fun with it. So
That's pretty much it for the news. I'm sure more little nuggets will come out from the panel that haven't really, we got to mine that for all it's worth for the next couple of months.
All right, well, let's take this time to remind people that you can subscribe to us and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google's Play Store, available on Stitcher, TuneIn, Player FM, still waiting on Spotify. We'll get there eventually. And if you want to support the program so that you can send us to San Diego Comic-Con next year, and we'll cover the Doctor Who panel personally.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
we'll do a whole show about that.
Actually, if you just want to keep this podcast going from a day-to-day basis, please consider donating to us on Patreon. I think everybody knows what Patreon is, but if you don't, click the link on our page and it'll take you there and explain it. Thank you very much to those who are already supporting us on Patreon.
It's like a Kickstarter, but it's kind of permanent.
It's ongoing. Yeah, ongoing Kickstarter. Very good. Do we have any feedback?
We sure do.
Do we have a feedback song?
We do not.
Oh. What's our first feedback then?
Our first feedback comes from Ben.
Ben writes, Sean, you promised you would sing. No, I didn't.
No, I think we promised he would sing. So we're the ones letting you down. Sorry, Ben.
If I did, I have no clear memory of that.
So, to be clear, he could have promised that. He just wouldn't remember it.
I wouldn't say wouldn't
That's
remember.
true. There's a good chance that he doesn't remember. I'm sure I have audio evidence somewhere of that I could find.
I wonder if that exists anywhere. If only there were a way to go back and listen to last week's show.
I'll dig around and see.
I could make a Patreon joke there, but I'm not going to.
Oh! That's what we need him to do. To promise to do Patreon subscribers. He'll do songs that you can access by becoming a Patreon subscriber.
Oh,
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
There you go.
okay.
Sean's best of.
Just chunk out the songs from
Yeah,
previous
exactly. Just clip
episodes
them out and put them on Patreon.
Yeah.
Maybe personalized.
Ooh, I wasn't going to throw that out there for you, but if you're going to offer it.
I think, Keith.
Yeah.
Getting back to Ben's letter, he writes, Hey guys, another week has come to a close. Not a lot going on here as usual. Harking back to last week's feedback concerning donuts. Okay, I have a bone to pick with you before we get into your feedback here, Ben. I did go. You peeled off because you said, I'm going to go to Dunkin' Donuts after this.
Did you really go?
I went, and they're closed.
They were closed?
Yeah.
They're
I
not
thought they
24
were
hours?
They're not 24 hours. The one next to it is open
Oh,
24
daylight-
hours.
daylight
But I'm not a
donuts.
big fan of
I'm
daylight.
not a big fan of daylight.
So
either.
I went,
I'm glad I didn't go then.
Yeah.
well,
I'd have been disappointed.
I'm going to want milk with this donut. So I went to Dillon's because they're open until midnight.
If
and
you
I
give a
run
Sean a
in,
donut.
And yeah. So I grab my milk and I run back to the bakery, and all I want is a caramel long john. You've got me hooked on this idea, Glenn. After Ben brings it up, we discuss it, and I say, I'm a man of simple pleasures. Keith says they've got this raspberry blah, blah, blah croissant, and I say, all I want is a caramel long john. And you went, oh, that's the best one ever. So now I really want a caramel long john. So I go to Dillon's, and I get the milk, and I go to the bakery, and there are no caramel long johns. They've got those weird ones with the white frosting that's like, I don't know, maple or something, and they always say it's caramel, but it isn't.
No, it's not caramel.
And I went, that's not what I want, but it's late, and where am I going to get a donut in this town at this hour? So I bought them, and they came in a box of 12. So, of course, nobody at home eats donuts. So over the course of this week, I had to eat 12 donuts to not get a caramel long john. And I blame you, and I blame Ben. The fat guy does not need to be going and getting donuts at midnight.
That's why this fat guy peeled off.
You're smarter than I am. That's why you should take me to escape rooms. Going back to donuts, there's a whole line based on cereals. The Cookie Monster donut uses crumbled Oreos, Sean, not a cereal.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
There you go. I thought it was Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster. Got crumbled
Does make
Oreos.
more sense.
What we usually go there for are the apple fritters, cinnamon rolls, and cinnamon twists. Each is the size of a dinner plate almost. Also, they have a maple bacon. See, there it is. Maple bacon long john that's pretty awesome.
Ooh, with bacon added.
But it's maple on a long john. Why would you do that? As to the Doctor Who donuts, that would be Voodoo Donut Shop that you're thinking of. Hertz may have done the one, I'm not sure. Voodoo did a whole line of them, though. Anyway, Hertz is a fun experience. As the sign on the door says, they're open 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. We don't have one, so I didn't go and get a donut there. Moving on to actual Doctor Who.
And Robert tweeted us, too, that is Voodoo the one in Wichita, then?
No.
Hertz is the one in Wichita.
Hertz in Wichita.
But they may have a Voodoo as well.
They did the Doctor Who donut.
Yeah.
Moving on to actual Doctor Who stuff. I missed the TV airing of Shada. I, like Glenn, have pre-ordered it. As I mentioned on your Facebook page, the release date has moved from September 6th to November 6th, according to an email I got from Amazon. I will wait until then to watch it, unless it re-airs, of course. So, is it possible that maybe the reason that they moved the release date is because they wanted everybody to be watching the new Who that's coming out and not the old Who that you pre-ordered through Amazon, and that maybe now we've got a date that it's September?
No, I think they moved the date because, well, maybe. Nah.
I just don't think they know when they want to release it.
I think we got pushed to September because of the BBC airing this week.
Although, why wouldn't it be, August? Why 2 months after it aired?
Why wouldn't you move it up? Why wouldn't you say you just saw it on Amazon, now buy it on BBC America?
Well, because BBC America will show it 2 or 3 more times.
Oh, will they for sure?
I'm sure they will. So that's probably, I suspect, is why it got bumped the first time. But yeah, now that you say that, from September to November, I don't know.
At this rate, I don't believe it's ever going to come out.
Well, I'm about to cancel my order and order the region-free Blu-ray. Eventually, everything on my shelves is going to be Blu-ray anyway, so why not?
It's true.
I hope.
Because the
Fingers
Blu-ray is more
crossed.
expensive?
It is more expensive.
Quite a bit more
It's like
expensive.
$40-some, isn't it?
Yeah,
42?
$43, $42.
Ooh, really?
Compared to the $20 for DVD.
I have to see some of it. I better start.
But it's available now.
Yeah, I better start haunting BBC America, because I'd have to see it before I committed to that. I think for a story I already own.
Twice.
That's why I haven't bought the Blu-rays of Tom Baker's first season yet. It's like, I really want it, but it's like, that's a lot of money for something I already own.
Well, if you want to check it out, the library has a copy of it.
Do they?
Yeah.
Of
The
what?
Blu-ray?
The Blu-ray?
The Blu-ray.
Oh.
The Tom Baker Blu-ray.
Oh, not
Not
shot.
shot.
Well, if you
because
want
it's
to
not
check
out
it out, I've got a copy of it you can borrow.
And then I could hold it
You don't
hostage
even-
until you
don't
return
even
my
have
other
to check
stuff.
it out. You don't even have to check it out.
I'd probably get to it before you will.
Probably.
Sticking with
That was what I was supposed to do this week. I knew there was something I was forgetting.
Ben continues.
I'll make another note.
We'll get through this email eventually. Sticking with Doctor Who, there's a new sonic screwdriver with 4 exclamation points. I personally love it, but it's getting a lot of hate. You had to go there, Ben. Really? Call me out. The fanboys who have been pissing and moaning
at
about
least 1 in 2 people, or 1 in 3 people.
1 in 3 people
At
don't
least
like
1
it.
in 3 people don't like it.
our very scientific survey says 1 in 3 Doctor Who fans are not happy. Fanboys pissing and moaning about the new Doctor being a woman have seized the opportunity to make the obvious references about the Sonic looking like a sex toy. What? I wouldn't have gone there. I wonder, would they make those assertions if the Doctor regenerated as a man once again? I think not. Anyway, between the new Sonic and the teaser trailers, I can't wait for the new season to air. It looks really good. I think that's about it for now. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Take care, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Holly also sent us some feedback. She wrote, The Daleks Master Plan, Part 1. Hey guys, I'm listening to the audiobook of this, which is the actual broadcast audio with linking narration. I've had this sitting in my audiobook library for quite some time, and I haven't gotten around to listening to it. How does that saying go? So many audiobooks, so little time?
Wait, is
Or
that a
something
saying?
like that anyway.
Is that a saying? Oh,
It is now.
it is now.
I have to say, Mission to the Unknown is a nice setup to the first episode of the Master Plan, proper, and just how devious the Daleks are. I like the character of Katarina, and the Doctor does not like being called Doc. Some things never change. Heading through the jungle, what could possibly go wrong? I have a few ideas, and none of them good. Day of Armageddon. Talk about ramping up the action with the Daleks surrounding the TARDIS and the destruction of the planet from the sounds of things. I don't blame the Doctor in the least for being careful around the Daleks and not trusting the inhabitants or the planet. Poor Stephen. Good thing those tablets did the trick and he's on the road to recovery. Not sure if I can trust the guardian of the solar system. Something seems a little off about him, and how the Doctor wants to make sure the others are warned about him. Could he be a rogue Time Lord? We'll save further judgment until the story gets further along. Well, I'll wrap it up here. Looking forward to your thoughts on this first portion of the Daleks Master Plan. Holly from Wisconsin.
It just occurred to me I'm in a position to give lots of spoilers to a lot of people, so I guess I'll be careful.
No spoilers.
For those of us that have not watched all of the Daleks Master Plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
That would be appreciated.
I am on my fourth go round, not watch totally, because like Holly, my first introduction to it was the linking narration by BBC. They're labeled BBC Radio, but yeah, it was the audio one version of it that I listened to first. So.
Thanks to Holly's message, she told us on Facebook that the Mission to the Unknown was included.
Yeah.
And I realized, hey, I have that. So I decided to listen to these in addition to watching
good.
the recons and reading the webcomics.
So you're really delving into it.
I'm really delving into it.
You're doing the deep dive.
You're getting the threefold.
Threefold.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it too. So
it's quite good. All right, shall we move on to our review? That's it for feedback.
Yes, please. Let's
get into it.
Mission to the Unknown. On the planet Kimball, Space Security Service agent Mark Corey is investigating a recent sighting of a Dalek spaceship. His suspicion that the creatures have established a base proves well-founded. He learns of a plot by the Daleks to invade and destroy the solar system, but he is discovered and exterminated. The Daleks and their allies vow to conquer the universe, beginning with the planet Earth.
Bum, bum, bum.
I guess it's more of a summary than a synopsis, but
That's okay. I like that.
I liked this.
it was pretty good.
I wasn't quite sure how I was going to feel about it going in, knowing that
There's no
doctor. It's just this other slice of things. But it's very much like a, you know how when they do an open that the doctor's not in, but they're setting up the plot? It's just like that, only a longer one.
Oh, so. Yeah. Well, and considering how long the story they're setting up is, it's kind of proportionate.
And I can only imagine, speaking of bold choices, what this would have been like to air this and then not start that story until a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are 4 episodes in between with the Mythmakers.
Yeah. I think had this part of the story gone longer than 1 episode, I would not have enjoyed it as much as I did. But because it's such a short, quick 1 episode, one-off type thing without the Doctor or anybody we know in it works pretty well.
I like it a lot because it's a nice little step away. It does set up the plot. I find, though, that this almost feels, after having watched this a few times, this almost feels like, and maybe it was because I don't know enough of the history, but Mission to the Unknown was created so that they could fill a gap that they were going to have, and they could push another episode out by doing this. I think somehow they were trying to even up the season or catch up or something like that. So the idea was to do this, to set that up. But then when having now watched the next 2 stories, I kind of wonder if because of the way the next story starts, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but because of the way The Nightmare Begins starts, it almost feels like this could have just simply been that with Bret and the other guy that's with him. and that if they took that little nugget of an Terry Nation took that little nugget of an idea and kind of pulled that out into a larger story. Because if you look at it, what's happening at the beginning of The Nightmare Begins is almost a truncated version of what is happening in
that's true.
Mission to the Unknown. So this was the first time I kind of came to that realization that maybe this is what happened is he had this nugget of the idea, and that's how he was going to start this story or this adventure, this set of stories. And then when they said, well, here, we need to fill a spot, he said, well, I could kind of flesh out a little bit more, and that's what happens. That being said, I think that this really kind of feels a little more of a setup than that little piece would have. I think that would have been enough. But now knowing that we have this, 22 minutes, it's not even 22. This was a little short. It was like 20 something. Now that we have that, I kind of like that. I kind of like not having the Doctor around. That would have been, as you said, that was a bold move. And I think that would have been weird to people to have a completely Doctor-free, Doctor Who comes on, credits come up, and you wait 20 minutes and no Doctor shows up. That's kind of an interesting move. I think that the saving grace for viewers back then, especially, was the fact that the Daleks are in this, and so it feels very much like Doctor Who because of just by the presence of the Daleks for them in 1960s. But I like it because I think even though there's not a lot going on other than them, trying to get off this planet, there is a lot tying into what's this conference that's going on and what's going to set up what comes much later as well.
So while the story aspect of things may be where the germ of it came from, it looks like part of the idea of this also was to try to sell the idea of a Dalek TV series.
Yeah. That much I did know, but not in the UK. This was actually, in fact, I think when the reason why I think Dennis Spooner maybe takes over halfway through this, you guys will notice Terry Nation only writes up to a certain amount, and I think part of that's because halfway through this is when Terry comes over to the US and is pitching the Dalek story, which would have had the elements of I never can remember what the guys are called, but Bret's part of this
space security service.
That's it, space security service, and that was what that was going to be set up around. In fact, there's some big Finnish audios that star Sarah Kingdom that were developed from this story. I think the Defenders is what the name of the story.
Destroyers.
Destroyers was going to be in the U.S., but they didn't pick up on it. So a Dalek story here.
I could see that being very much we need to fill a hole. Oh, what do we do? Hey, Terry, do you have anything? Yeah, I can come up with something. I'm just going to steal this and rewrite it. That seems like a very Terry Nation thing to do. And when you get into the other two parts, as you said,
that's
Mission
really
to the
only
Unknown.
Part 1.
Yeah, Mission to the Unknown really becomes superfluous in a way because they do retread all of that information.
Right. I mean, in what is it? The Nightmare Begins. Really, it's the reason they're there on the planet is looking for this guy. So that's kind of the whole thrust, and you don't necessarily need that plot of why he was there doing what he was doing because they still don't know other than the tape that the Doctor found when they were out in the jungle. So it's, as at least up to this point, what he was doing is really inconsequential because it just drew Bret to the planet more than anything else.
And you could very simply rewrite that with, they crashed and
right.
move on.
Or even without. I mean, just drop in with the mid-mystery, and you don't necessarily need to know because, look, the Daleks show up. That's all you need.
we do kind of rehash the fact that the Daleks are having this conference with these alliance. We kind of rehash the fact that, the jungle and there's plants. I think you get a better explanation in
yeah, you understand I keep wanting to call them Janus Thorns.
Yeah. Same problem every time.
Vargathorns.
Every time he said it, my brain went Janus.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
But
speaking of the conference, I love the designs of all these other new aliens that we've never seen before, both in this and the next one.
You know what makes me feel? For some reason, it invokes that scene in Empire Strikes Back where the bounty hunters are all standing on the deck of the Star Destroyer with Vader. And not so much that any of them look like any of them, but they're so different, and there's a number of them. And I remember, like, the cantina scene was incredible in Star Wars when I was a kid. There were so many things going on there, but they were in the cantina, and it was a spaceport, and it just kind of it was expected. But I think the contrast of the differences of the characters in that scene in Empire Strikes Back always stuck with me, because I always thought this is really neat, because all of these people look very, very different from each other.
They don't belong on the bridge of a
Star Destroyer. Don't belong on the bridge. It's exactly what it is. And it's that kind of invokes that feeling in me when I saw this for the first time of how starkly different they are in this stark metallic, city of a conference room. And it for some reason it evokes that same feeling as when I first saw them. I thought they did. I don't know why, but to me there was a parallel.
Yeah, if New Who wants to mine the original series to bring back a villain,
any of these
guys would fit the bill in my book, because this design was like, wow, these are some cool looking aliens.
Yeah.
And I like how we'll get to it eventually, but how the comic takes it one step further, and even they don't exactly look. I mean, they're a little more simplistic in the series because you have makeup and you have to work with. In the comic, they embellish a little bit on it, a little more too. So,
well, I think in even the animation they did a little bit also.
I didn't notice too much of a difference in the animation. Which, by the way, we're talking about. We watched an animation of Mission Unknown, which to me is almost as good as some of the animation that that was released.
Absolutely.
With some of the first. I'm still kind of blown away that this was probably built with professional style software, with professional style animators contributing, but it's this, I think, I may be wrong, might have been produced either before or right near when they were doing Invasion. And this is obviously some animators that didn't end up on Doctor Who series proper, but there's a lot of bad things I can say about Ian Levine, but this isn't one of them.
Because I think absolutely not.
This is just as good as any animation that's come out for the Doctor Who DVDs that have been released.
There are a few clunky walk scenes
but there's even that in the Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest complaints in the Ice. Well, even Power of the Daleks. I think I commented
the walking
how very stick and 2-dimensional it was. But it's not any worse than that. It's my point, and I think that's what I appreciated about it.
And if anything, I mean, from a if you're going to do something standpoint, this is a good one to choose to animate, because it's not got a huge cast of characters, and it's got some Daleks, and we're mostly in the jungle. You can get away with a lot.
Standalone story.
Yeah,
right.
You can get away with a lot in animation that maybe you wouldn't be able to do if you chose to animate Doomsday. Yeah, it's like, that's not happening.
Well, I think this was Ian Levine testing the waters for what he could do with Shada, because he also animated segments of Shada that were missing, or had them animated. He's not actually doing it himself, but he produced animations of Shada, which I suspect are probably very similar to this. So I bet this was him testing the water to see what he could do, I wonder if he delivered this to BBC and said, hey, you've got one story out there that doesn't have the Doctor in it that's missing. Take a look at this. I wonder if that was a proof of performance for him for this as well.
Yeah. Well, and while some of the walking may have been clunky, I think there were some great embellishments elsewhere, like the Varga plants and the little movements that they had them do of the almost shuddering. Made them really creepy.
Yeah.
Which did not come across in the reconstruction.
No. Yeah, no, I agree.
We don't typically talk too much about it, but how much I can't remember, because the second time I did this with just the loose cannon stuff. So the animation was the third time through, but I can't remember. How does it, just because you've done both, how does this compare to the loose cannons reconstruction? I mean, obviously it's better to see things moving, and that's why I thought we should do it.
Oh yeah,
this way. But
I think it's better than watching the reconstruction. I mean, I'd compare it to watching the reconstruction of Power of the Daleks instead of the animation. I mean, it's kind of the same apples and oranges. I mean, there wasn't that great of liberties taken with the animation, I don't think, that I noticed anyways, based off of the descriptions given in the recons.
Very good.
Well, and there shouldn't be. I mean,
No.
if you're going to animate it the way it should look. Don't
embellish it
don't
too
embellish
much.
it to the
Yeah.
point
Right.
where it doesn't look like a Doctor Who story.
Or I guess my hope is when they animate these things is that they're trying to, and I think they often do it because they talk about it in the extras, at least the stuff that's been commissioned officially by To Entertain. I think you should at least stick to what, as best you can, was probably presented at the time. And
Right.
I really feel like this even did that, not being a commissioned project by To Entertain. I think this even did that is to give us likely what this would have looked like when this aired.
Well, and it probably was truer than Power of the Daleks and the scale of the production line that we saw in the animation there, or some of the amazing framing shots in Moonbase that I don't think were actually part of the filming that they did.
But I don't have a problem with them in Moonbase or Power.
Or Power.
really.
No, it's
Yeah.
just it's letting them live up to the expectation you would have. I mean, it'd be like one of the a shot of Daleks and actually illustrating Daleks instead of cardboard cutouts of Daleks. I mean, of course, you're not going to illustrate them as cardboard cutouts. You're
Right.
going to illustrate them as actual Daleks.
If it was necessary to animate segments of the Daleks,
right.
you wouldn't animate them
Exactly,
as the two.
yeah.
And there are actually 2D cutout
Yeah,
Daleks
yeah.
in that story. Yeah.
It was funny, speaking of...
Which I can only assume that Power had some 2D cutouts also.
Perhaps. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I
Because I
wouldn't-
haven't watched the recons.
I wouldn't be surprised if every Dalek story has
Well-
a 2D cutout of one somewhere.
Even Asylum.
That could be, but by the
Every
time
Dalek ever.
Every Dalek ever. Here's the cardboard cutout
by
back
the
here.
time Power had come around, we had already had 4 more Dalek stories in
Yeah.
between. So, well, no, 2 more, because there would have been Dalek Invasion Earth. Oh, 3. Yeah, 3.
Three.
Dalek Master Plan and the Chase.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of 2D, I caught
Anyway,
a shot.
my point is there probably were a lot
Right.
more Daleks built in.
I don't remember if it was from Mission Unknown or one of the other ones where they're going through the jungle. And I happened to notice the painted backdrop wall that had trees painted on it, and then they had real plants in front of it. In one quick look, and then it was gone. And I realized that, of course, every Doctor Who jungle has done that. Very likely that they're all sound stages, that they're all painted backdrops, that they're all plants that have been trucked in from
Aside
somewhere
from
else.
Creature from the Pit.
Well, the
they
only
actually
time you
filmed-
would have seen that would have been Dave Armageddon, because that's the only one we have of moving pictures so far
But
that we've watched.
in my head, they're in a jungle. And maybe this is one of the when people talk about the poor production value and cardboard sets and whatnot. Maybe that's one of the things that I just always happen to gloss over, because even being a recon, I'm into the story, and I'm invested. I'm you've hooked me. So let's see what's happening. And I think I'd looked away for a moment and then happened to look back, and that's the only reason that I caught it at the moment, because up until that point, it was like, oh, they're in the jungle. Okay. And I just roll with it, But this was really the first time ever that I went, look at that set. Why would it kind of struck me as, I don't know if it's a way that I watch Doctor Who or not.
Something
I
that-
didn't notice it. So.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either. Something that strikes me now as I think about this, because you were talking about this being a bold move to do this and then have a full month of story that didn't have anything to do with it, and then picking this story up later. I wonder how many people back there then might have, after a month, thought that Bret and the guy at the beginning of this of the Nightmare Begins were the same
Were the
guys,
same guys,
that were
yeah.
stranded on the planet before. And the reason I say that is because if you have a short attention span, or at that point you're kind of a casual viewer, I think you're not as diehard as some of us are now today, because it hasn't been around as long. There were some probably out there, but if you're a casual viewer and are you going to remember that they both bit it at the end by then? Now, we haven't got there yet, but we saw the doctor pick up the tape recording.
Right.
And I think eventually you would be let in. But again, now thinking about it, they don't know what that tape is yet. We've already done 2 episodes of The Nightmare Begins and Dave Armageddon, and he's just handed that tape off to Bret, and Bret doesn't even know what that tape is yet. And so it wouldn't have been even until the next week, spoilers, that that you hear the tape, and so you're talking a full month and a half of maybe going through thinking that these guys were the same guys. I mean, if you're like me and you watch something for the first time, and then you're like, I'll start binging a show and I'll watch like 8 episodes of it, and then I won't get back to it for another 2 months, and then I'll have forgotten some of the plot points. I probably would have been one of those people that thought, oh yeah, I remember these guys from that one episode a month ago, only to find out 2 more episodes later, wait, those guys
those
died.
are different guys.
These are different guys. So now this is just something that's going through my head now as I think about it.
I'm the same way, because I got caught up with it, thinking, well, why are you reiterating this bit of information to me? You just talked about it. And then they find the first body in the jungle that's completely skeletal. The doctor is a skeleton. And I went, well, that happened quick. It must be the poison. And I had to stop myself and go, no, the reason they're recapping, and it's been a month.
Right.
There's been...
For viewers, yeah.
The time has passed. So I had to kind of keep reminding myself of that, because the benefits of mainlining or marathoning them or watching them as we are in this kind of weird omnibus version, you didn't have that option back then.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you couldn't go back and revisit the episode either.
Yeah.
Unless you had put up your tape recorder and listened to it after the fact.
It was a one and done.
This is a little bit of having some foreknowledge on this. This is when these 4 episodes together, these 3 episodes that we watched together are the most similar until later on in the series. And by that I mean these all take place at the same place. These all take place with the same event happening on the planet. And it'll be interesting to see what you guys see next week and the weeks following, when things take very drastic and different approaches from where our sets and sceneries are. And it's kind of...
we're going to keys to Marinus this, aren't we?
Well, a little bit. They still stay with the plot, the story. They're still... Obviously, we know at the end of this one that the doctor's picked up the terranium and it has run with it. And that's the core that runs the doomsday device. I can't remember what it's got, the time delineator. Disruptor, yeah. And so he's grabbed the core off the table after the confusion happens and the delegates all scatter, and he's run off to the TARDIS, or not to the TARDIS, to catch up with the friends who are now on the plane or ship. So that's still, I mean, it carries through, but I'm just looking ahead and I'm thinking this is going to be a lot of fun, I hope, for you guys, because I really enjoy this, because I think a 12-part story can get watered down sometimes and troubling and boring, but but it can. War Games is good. I don't fault that, but there does seem to be a lot of the same thing happening in the War Games.
Yes.
And that's what I like about this.
If it weren't
story,
Patrick Troughton, I probably wouldn't enjoy
But this will
be
be for a while. This will be the first time that there's a lot similar going on in the story.
I'm definitely hooked. I'm really curious to, when the Daleks announce that they've got visitors coming and they're planned. What? Oh, it's this delegation from such and such. Oh, are they going to wipe them out? No. Okay. And then all the aliens come down. First thought, wow, cool aliens. Second thought, what are you doing here? Why would you? Oh, they're teaming up? Really? And then the inevitable third thought, how long till the Daleks betray them?
Well, even the Daleks talked about how long it would be till they betrayed them.
That one guy, his ambitions outreached, his usefulness will kill him momentarily.
Well, I didn't realize until I read the comic book that the Dalek is referring to Mavic Chen, not the weed guy in the plane, in the cloak,
not the fern.
Yeah, the fern in the cloak.
I totally thought it was.
I thought it was the fern in the cloak, and then when I read it makes me want to go back and look at the transcript, but see if they said Mavic Chen in that, because or it was in reference to that, because I can't remember.
The
that
audio
one
made
was
it sound
in,
like it was them
because,
talking about Mavic Chin also.
Oh, did it? Because
in the
that's the one
audiobook.
in the reconstruction of the videos we've been watching, right? That's when they say that is in the recon. Not that's in Nightmare Begins, not Dave Armageddon.
No,
Because Mavic Chin shows up at the end of the Nightmare Begins.
That's kind of the big
That's the
reveal.
big
of
reveal.
Big reveal is
The
the fact
Nightmare
that
Begins.
he's not on vacation. He's actually at this.
conference.
Did you have the same reaction that I did, Keith, when he walked in and they show there, and I went, oh!
Yeah,
Like-
a little bit. He's gonna Tobias Vaughn. He's gonna be evil. He's not the protector of the solar system.
Well, I audibly gasped, and Mel happened to be in the room during that part. She looked up at the screen and went, "Is that the Master?" I went, "No. Well, I don't think so. Not yet. I suppose it could be." I do find it a little odd, and I have to let it go. A little teeth gnashing every time they would talk about, oh, we've got representatives from this galaxy and representatives from this galaxy. What are we going to do? We're going to go attack the solar system. Really?
You couldn't say the Milky Way.
Your sense of scope is... But then I thought, no, that just shows that the Human Alliance and the Special Space Service...
Something like
Space Security Service.
Space Security
Security
Service.
Service.
That's how bad we really are. We are the bad guys on the block. And I don't mean bad like bad. I mean bad like, yeah, we're that awesome. Because we are the solar system. And everybody knows what they're talking about when you say it.
It's true.
It's not your solar system. It's the solar system.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, oh, yeah, with
Guardian of
Earth.
the solar system.
So I wonder how many ice warriors are around in the year 4000.
You were. I'm sorry. I this flew over my head. You were making the Tobias Vaughn reference because you know it's the same actor, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't catch that.
Because he didn't say anything, and I thought maybe I better check with you if you realize that it's the same guy that plays Tobias Vaughn.
I didn't realize it
It's
was
the same
Nicholas Briggs
actor.
until it was live
Oh
action.
yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah,
I
no,
was
the
really
guy
invested
playing,
in that.
The guy playing Mavic Chin is the same actor that plays Kevin Story. Kevin Story.
I'm trying
Keith's
to find
looking
his
it up.
name.
Anyway, yeah,
gotta
he
scroll through
plays
12
Tobias
episodes.
Vaughn in The Invasion.
Cool.
Yeah, that's why he made the reference. I was just making sure that's why he made the reference, and he wasn't saying
Stoney.
he's going to
Kevin
pull
Stoney.
he's going to pull a Tobias Vaughn where he turns out being the bad guy because he kind of does that one too.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily know he's the bad guy.
He just said it, and I
Story.
went.
It's Kevin
Stoney.
Stoney.
He just said it, and I kind of went with it, knowing where Tobias Vaughn winds up. But
Yeah,
that's
it's the
an
same
even
actor.
cooler reference
Yeah,
now.
it's the
Keith.
same actor.
Keith is on point tonight.
Trying.
Now, if only we could find somebody and go, man, he's going to pull a Niter. What, be weird and creepy from the get-go? I love Niters so much. Sorry, side note. Anyway,
So do you guys retcon Nicholas Courtney by this is totally an ancestor of the Brigadier? Or a descendant of the Brigadier?
no, but I do now.
I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, I'm fine with that.
Of course the Brigadier's descendants would join special space
I'm
security.
completely fine with that. Yes.
Andy, get on that.
Knowing it's the year 40,000, yeah.
I'm going to add a story to the very end of Lineage.
Very end. The very end.
No. The book that's coming out, they're going to add a lineage story of
Yeah.
in the future.
But it's at the very, because he's got the Briggs timeline.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and this will be way off in the distance at the end of it, 4,000 years later.
Well, it wouldn't have to be 4,000 because this is
set in 4,000.
2,000.
yeah. I just say
Yeah.
because this is the
So it would be 2,000 years later.
Yeah. this is
2,040
2000.
years later.
yeah.
Bret.
Oh, I guess this story. Well, when it aired was 1960, and depending on unit dating, was in the 1970s and 80s.
That's what I should have just went with.
Or
You're not taking unit dating into account. Because Bret could even be like an anagram or something, the shortened version of Lethbridge Stewart. Bret. Oh,
Bret Vyon.
yeah. I don't know.
Let's see if I can work that out.
Figure it out.
Andy can do it.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys are enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Good.
How blessed is Nicholas Courtney to have worked on Doctor Who in a Dalek episode? and then come back to Doctor Who and get Yeti, and then come back to Doctor Who and get Cybermen.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just the greatest gig in the world at that point, right?
Well, I suppose, yeah.
He didn't know at the time.
Well, and then come back and get Zygons, and then come back and get...
Well, I mean, once you're an established recurring character,
Right.
it's like, oh,
You're
what are we
going
doing this week?
to run into them all, but...
But I mean, can you imagine guest starring on this thing and then coming back and guest starring on it again and hitting two of the, I mean,
Two of the big ones.
the big
yeah,
ones?
yeah.
There probably aren't many people that can. Well, Tobias can do it, but there aren't many people that can say, "Yeah, I worked with a Cyberman and a Dalek."
Oh, and the fact that he worked with six of the 7 Doctors at that time.
Yeah.
Because he didn't work with Colin Baker. Is the only Doctor he didn't star alongside.
Until Dimensions.
Right, until Dimensions.
Which that's still.
Which
I'm still blocking for my brain.
Sean doesn't count, so we guess we can't count it.
Until Big Finish.
Yeah. That we can count.
But on television.
We should talk a little bit about the comic, because the funny thing is I went to put the link in so people could go look at the comic or get some more information about the comic, and Castor Boris is down. And I don't know if they are down because they went under, but this was a comic that was released monthly. No, not monthly. Every Saturday, I think it was, in the summer of 2013. I'm doing a lot of this from memory now, and a few little articles I saw on it. 2013, I think maybe it was. Anyway, it was released on the serialized on there, and then was created as a web comic as one big omnibus that you could download for a donation. And I was even going to bring what the donation was for. What it was in the 50th anniversary.
That would have been 2013.
Year. And so this was their offering, but I can't find the site on Castor Boris. I can't find anything about it except for a few articles that link back to it, to a dead link. So anyway, that I guess I'm lucky in 2013 that I downloaded the comic book, so we have the version to see it. But what do you guys think of the comic so far? What do you think of the artwork? I think that this isn't a professionally done. Let's put it in perspective. This isn't these artists might have been professionals. Don't get me wrong. But this isn't a commercially done comic. Right. This is a project that the guys on Castor Boris were working on and putting out. What do you guys think of the comic?
I think it's pretty good. It's enjoyable. It seems so much shorter than the actual episodes are, but I can't quite pinpoint what they've cut out because the major plot points are still there.
I agree.
And can't really.
And I think they've embellished some of the visuals of them. Obviously, some of the scenes, especially when you get to the moving one, and compare it to Day of Armageddon, there are a lot of locational shots that are different, but there's some that are very much the same. And like Bret jumping on the Fern instead of grabbing him around the neck, which he does in the TV series. Bret doesn't quite look like Nicholas Courtney to me, but I think the Doctor looks pretty good. Stephen looks pretty good. Katarina looks pretty good. But what I thought was interesting is the delegates. They take a little bit more embellishment. The one with all the dots all over him is a little less humanoid formed than he is in the book.
And then the green one has the squid tentacles,
which I would never have guessed he was green. So I wonder if they just took that.
They must have,
because you can't tell in the black and white episode. No. So I wonder if they thought, well, he could be green. Why not? Yeah, but he has the little kind of tentacly things,
which
on the
I don't remember seeing.
No, he just had. All I remember seeing was that he had the pointy teeth, because he's the one that asks about the. Why couldn't someone else? Why didn't you ask us to produce the terranium? So,
did you just echo yourself?
Well, I was trying to think if I was echoing myself to see if I'd said it right. Training.
I thought you were doing that for effect.
No,
and I went.
No.
That's a weird place to put that.
It was me saying it over and over to see if I had said it right. Sorry.
You did.
Okay, good.
Oddly enough, I think the jungle looks less jungle in the comics than it does.
Well, that's because we're
going to complain about.
There's no painted backdrop.
There's no painted backdrop. I think it's a fun little tie-in.
It's a nice Cliff Note version. That's the best way I can describe it.
That's just it. The third time that I went through doing Daleks Master Plan is kind of the way I've laid it out for us this time. So this is my second time to do it in the way that we're doing it. And I did the same thing as I would watch the episodes, I would read the comic. And I really felt like the comic, if there was anything that I felt I missed, especially from the reconstructed versions that I watched, that seemed to be kind of solidify the story for me by reading the comic. And as you said, getting the cliff notes and making sure that everything still made sense linear to me.
This is a great panel.
I love that. It's like a splash page.
I want this as a poster on the wall, actually. With one with all the villains and the Daleks hovering over the Earth.
But unfortunately, I wish. I mean, if people did some more digging, there's probably some scans or prints of this out there if people want to look it up. But I do apologize. I couldn't put the link in the show because it would have taken you to nothing. So.
And this isn't something legally that we can share with.
I don't think it is, since it's somebody else's intellectual. It's not copyrighted, but it was because it was produced for. If this was produced to put out on the web for anybody to have, I wouldn't have a problem with sharing it. Because this was produced especially also then to get charity, it makes it a little more special for me to have for those people that did get it. So I don't want to just put it out there without permission. So, but like I say, it's probably not hard to dig it up somewhere online if you're savvy, if you'd like to do so yourself. But I'm glad we're doing it this way because, as I said, it's certainly shorter than reading 2 books worth of Lost Story.
Right.
But we're going to do that when we do our Sarah Kingdom stuff. So, anything else you guys want to talk about this particular 3 stories that we've done?
I'm enjoying Katarina so far and looking forward to seeing Steven
I'm
back.
I suppose we should say that. That's the. Maybe let's talk quickly about that. Do you guys feel at all lost about Katarina? Why?
Only a little bit, but not much.
Just, okay, new person in the TARDIS.
Obviously brand new to the TARDIS.
Apparently not.
She was a handmaiden of
with
some sort.
it all there. Oh, it's because she's a quote-unquote primitive that, okay, now I'm there.
Yeah.
So now I really want to watch the Mythmaker. I had no idea the Mythmakers was set in Rome.
Yeah, it's Troy.
Troy.
It deals with the Trojan horse.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So
here's my thing: is I went through this 3 times, and not having ever seen the Mythmakers, and then as I was reading Neil and Neil Perryman and his wife, what the heck her name is? Escaped me. Sue. Neil and Sue's book, Adventurous Wife of the Babe. And I got to that. I decided I was going to watch the recon, so I knew what the Mythmaker. I was so excited because I thought, I'm going to find out who Katarina is. I'm going to, get the. She barely joins the TARDIS at the very end, and it's almost we needed a replacement for Vicky. Come on. Oh. So I'll be interested when you guys see it and you go, that's it.
Well, damn.
Yeah. So let me tell you, you're not missing much. Okay, there's not a lot of build up to Katarina getting on the ship.
Well, apparently, Stephen is poised in some way, shape, or form.
That does happen, and that was the revelation for me, is watching that and going, "Oh, that's why
how.
Stephen's not, that's why Stephen is sickly."
Well, my interest in it was more of why did Vicky decide to leave?
And I don't know. I'm not going to go into this. We'll go there because that is one of the things that was real revealed to me. It was like, oh, okay, that's why you stayed. Okay, so we'll get there eventually when we do that Lost Story. But that one's a lot of fun because the Doctor sits down in ancient Troy and goes, "None of this is real. This is just a story. This was Homer wrote this. What's going on here?" And as it goes. It's funny, though, because he said, well, maybe you ought to just make a Trojan horse. He's saying that off the cusp because that's from the story. And they go, that's a great idea. Let's build a Trojan horse. And they build a Trojan horse and roll it in. But anyway, that's all I'm going to give you spoilers. Because Odysseus was not a real character. He was made up by, was it? No, not Homer. Homer wrote it. The Iliad, Odysseus.
But those aren't autobiographical.
Those are not autobiographical, apparently. So...
Huh.
Yeah, but then again, Robin Hood wasn't really there. So,
all right. So, what do we got coming up on the schedule?
Well, coming up on the schedule next week is more of the Daleks Master Plan. Our next 3 installments are Episode 3, The Devil's Planet, which we will be doing the loose cannon reconstruction. Episode 4, The Traitors, which we will be doing a loose cannon reconstruction. And then number 5, Counterplot, which is one of the surviving episodes and available on the Lost in Time box set. Which I have to be honest, this was the first time I had really booted up my Lost in Time box set, was to watch the third installment for this, and had no idea it was laid out the way that it is. It's like, that's kind of cool.
It's different. It's different than the other.
It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But
You don't get the typical splash screen that you get for the rest of the To Entertain stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, anything else we need to add?
I don't think so.
Cool. That's going to do it for this time. Until next time, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you. Thanks for listening.
Okay, you say it.
Sorry.
He just did.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.